Hi everyone, I'm Parminder Randhawa, and I'm super excited to be here today and to talk to you all about stress and anxiety within our children today. Because unfortunately, stress and anxiety today are one of the biggest culprits of mental health problems with our children today, as opposed to previous generations when I and probably yourselves were growing up. And as parents, being a parent is such an intense emotional experience. It's one of the most amazing things that becoming a parent is one of the most amazing things that we can ever experience. But with it as well, is the difficulty of sometimes seeing our children in pain and dealing with anxiety, dealing with stress. And quite often as parents, we just want to jump in and fix it all. We want to make it all better. We want to buy them something, do something, cover it up, fix it, deal with whatever pain our children are dealing with. And a lot of times that does come down to stress and anxiety that they're feeling. And this video today, I just wanted to talk about how sometimes, well, a lot of the time actually, fixing things and just jumping in and trying to save our children isn't always the best option for them, because they're not going to actually learn how to manage their feelings and learn that all feelings are a part of humanity. Because I think a lot of times there's so much emphasis on being happy. We want to be happy, we want our children to be happy, that happiness is this end destination where we all need to get to. However, feeling happy, joy is just an emotion as the same as all other emotions. Fear, guilt, feeling sad, unhappy, or worried. They're all emotions. And to be human and live in a human experience, all of us have to experience all of these emotions. And because sometimes as parents, we forget that for our children to actually experience life and for them to, immerse themselves into life and fully feel all the experiences that we want them to feel and learn from as well, then they have to go through a number of different emotions and feel them as well. I think it's so important, and it's very easily forgotten at times, but it's really, really important to remind ourselves of that as well. And it's so important to teach our children different ways to manage their emotions, that all emotions are okay, that you don't need to feel happy all the time. But happy isn't a destination of where we're going to get to. If you're sad or you're feeling unhappy, it's okay. And teach our children to just sit in the moment and experience those feelings. I mean, quite often, even as adults find it really hard to sit with their feelings. If they're feeling unhappy or sad or upset about something, it's like reach for something to eat, go out and do something, pick up the phone and speak to somebody. But to just actually sit with an emotion is pretty difficult, as an adult, if we haven't actually been nurtured to do this from childhood. And if we can support our children to actually sit in an emotion, with an emotion and a feeling, it's the most powerful gift we can ever give them, because they'll learn that it's okay to feel however they feel in that given moment, and it's going to pass. That just because you're feeling upset or just because you're feeling sad, it doesn't mean it's going to ruin the whole day or the week. It's just that moment of time, however long you need to feel it for. It doesn't mean the rest of the day or the week's a complete write-off. It just means that you're feeling the way you're feeling, and that's okay. And that is so powerful. So that's what this video is about today. And also teaching our children that emotions and feelings that they have and are not something to be scared of. They're actually signals from our body, guidance that they can actually use to learn from, to grow from, and to support, and they can actually support themselves with as well. And learning from their feelings and how to manage them, teach them so many things. They teach our children problem solving skills. They teach our children how to experience higher levels of physical and mental well-being as well, as opposed to just thriving and striving towards happiness all the time. So that's so key, and it's so important as well, to learn that pain and to hide from it and to stockpile it is so damaging, because it will always manifest and, you know, be released and come to the surface in other forms. So if we teach our children to, well, if we don't teach our children how to manage their emotions, then they'll just stockpile and cover them on top of each other, and you know, and suppress them, and at some point they're going to surface. This is how, you know, addictions, or, you know, anxieties, mental health issues, insecurities, whatever it is later on in life, somehow these buried emotions and feelings will surface. So it's so important to teach our children to let them out, to deal with them, to sit with them, so they're not just stacking emotion on top of emotion that's going to be damaging for them later on in the future. So that's a really powerful, a couple of really powerful techniques that we can do this to teach our children. And one of the ways that I love to work with my parents, and I love to teach them about, is the 3 C's method. It's teaching our children to catch, collect, and change any thought or feeling that they're having. It's so powerful. So they can use, say, something like a net, or they can visualize, okay, so they've got a feeling or an emotion that they are feeling right now, so they can visualize a net or something that they can catch this emotion. Okay, so that's the first technique, to actually physically catch it in its tracks. So as soon as you do that, as soon as we teach our children to do that, their conscious awareness is coming to now, into the moment. So they're not worried or stressing about the future or the past or things that haven't happened. They're bringing their conscious awareness into the moment instantly. In that moment, as soon as you bring your awareness into now, they're actually going to feel so much better, because they've caught the feeling or emotion and stopped it in its tracks. So initially, that's the first C. Secondly, is to collect evidence. Collect lots of evidence, you know, have it in a dialogue with themselves. What is accurate about this? Is this true, how I'm feeling? Is there any evidence to support how I'm feeling? Has this already happened? How accurate are these feelings? Am I just worried, feeling anxious about something that hasn't even happened yet? So firstly, collect. Secondly, firstly catch, secondly collect evidence to support this, because by doing this, they're going to start picking apart, okay, I'm actually feeling worried now. What reason, or, you know, what basis, or have I actually got to be feeling worried about this again? What truth is there to this? Is there any solid evidence that this is actually true? You know, what evidence have I got? Is this accurate? As soon as they start picking it apart, less and less they'll start to feel this uncomfortable emotion or feeling. So firstly, catch, secondly, collect, and thirdly, change. After this, once they've collected all the evidence and, you know, to see if it's accurate or not, and they start to learn then it's not, then they can actually change how they're feeling, because they realize that they've caught the emotion or feeling in that moment. They've actually challenged it, collecting lots of information that might not actually be there, and then they can actually change. They're in control of their feelings. They can actually change how they feel. This is so powerful, and as adults can use this as well, and it's so important and powerful to teach our children this. That's the 3 C's: catch, collect, and change. So powerful. And the second method I'd like to talk to you about is the feel method. This is really powerful. You know, when our children are feeling everything and they're uncomfortable and they're upset and they're hurting, us parents want to jump in, we want to save the day, we want to fix it. We're all guilty of doing this, because we just love them so much, and we just think, because we love them so much, we don't want them to feel any pain, we don't want them to be hurt, and we just want to jump in and save the day. However, it is so much more empowering for our children, for us to actually step away and allow them, like I said earlier, to actually feel these emotions and feelings for a short time, okay? Just to learn to sit with how they're feeling. So if they're feeling overly anxious or worried or stressed about something, one of the best things we can do is use this feel method. And firstly, the F stands for freeze. Before jumping in and jumping into fix mode and covering up, you know, over all the feelings and trying to fix everything, to just freeze. It's just stop in our tracks and think, okay, I'm just going to allow them, as difficult as it is, but just allow them to feel what they're feeling in this moment. So firstly, just breathe. I know it's difficult, parents, but we've all got to do it. They will thank us for it one day. So just freeze. And, don't jump in, don't fix it. And then secondly, the first E is, so first is freeze, then it's empathize. Really, really listen, heartfelt listening to our children and make them feel seen, heard, and felt, so they actually really feel like we get it. We're actually listening, not just jumping in, not just making the right sounds, but really, really listening, with our hearts, with our minds, with every part of our being, listening. And you'll know when your child can really feel empathy and they know that they're really being heard, because they'll just give you that look like, you know what, you get it. So we're going to really empathize with them by not jumping in, correcting, trying to fix, trying to talk things through. We're going to allow them to completely talk about whatever it is they're feeling about and their experience, and we are just going to genuinely listen, and we're going to empathize with them. We can tell them that we understand how they feel. We can actually, tell them, that we're allowing them to talk, and that we can really feel how they feel, because you can jump in and say, we've been through similar experiences, or you've experienced similar things, and how you come out of it. So that's so, so important. So firstly, freeze. Secondly, empathize. And when you truly empathize and your child truly feels seen, felt, and heard, then is when you jump in with the educating. This is now, so you haven't fixed it or covered it up, so because you froze, you've empathized. You haven't just tried to, make everything better, or try to just jump in with, you choose this, or you can do this, and this can help you, this can help you. No. You've actually sat back and empathized. Really let them talk about what they need to talk about and get it off their chest. Okay, so we've got breathe, empathy, and then the third one is educate. Now your child is feeling safe, they're feeling comforted, they're in their safe place with us. Now you can educate. Now you can actually teach them about all the amazing techniques that they can use, how they can visualize their anxiety, how they can give it a color, how they could use a worry monster, and all these different things, now. So once they feel comfortable and they feel seen and they feel heard and they feel like, you know what, my parents get it, they understand me, now is the time to educate. Never just jump in, fix, and educate first, because you're just masking over how they feel. So now you can truly educate your children and teach them techniques that are going to empower them and support them. And then lastly, let go. All of us parents are so guilty of this. We really are. If our children are hurting or upset or in pain about something, we blame ourselves. I've caused this anxiety. It's because of me. It's because I worry, or I always fix things, or I've done this wrong, or I've done that wrong. And we blame ourselves. And for some reason, we feel like, if they're not getting on with friends at school, if they're feeling left out, or they're struggling in a particular subject, or, they're feeling insecure about something, or that inner critic takes over and they're talking down to themselves, we feel like we're to blame. We've done something wrong, it has to come back to us, we failed somewhere. But we haven't. We blame ourselves, but we need to let go of the guilt. That's what the last L is. That's what the L is for. Let go. We need to let go of the guilt. We need to let go of, we haven't done anything wrong. Our children are human, having this experience of life. They're going to have ups and downs and sad days when they're feeling insecure or not good enough. This is all part of life, and this will build resilience. This will, this will help them thrive and strive in the future to become the best people they could ever be, the best versions of them. So they need to feel all of these things. So we need to let go of the guilt. So that was feel, freeze, empathize, then educate, and then just let go. Forgive yourself and let go of the guilt. Let go of, the untrue feelings and thoughts that you have that you failed because you haven't. Just let go of that, and then you will come from a place of compassion, love, and guidance and support and empowerment that your children actually need. So there you have it. 2 fantastic techniques there to support your children with anxiety and moments of overwhelm and stress. Okay, so the 3 C's, which is catch, collect and change, and then the feel method, which is to freeze, empathize, educate, and let go. I hope you found that super useful. And if you ever find yourself in these moments of, challenging moments of overwhelm and anxiety with your children, I really, really hope that you can use some of these techniques to empower your children and yourselves. Oh, thank you so much for listening. It's been absolutely amazing talking to you today, and I look forward to catching up with you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.